Aside from the risk of violence, unemployment is the biggest issue trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming students face. Career advisors working with trans students need to be aware of these risks when advising them.
Occupational barriers for transgender, queer, and nonconforming folks will look differently than occupational barriers for cisgender people.
Individuals cannot make career decisions independent from their environment. Because of this, advising strategies that work for cisgendered students may not work the same way for trans students.
It's painful to have to acknowledge the barriers that people are going to have to face because of unfair discrimination. So we know that we can't change all of those things, but we want to make the advising experience for these students as helpful and harm reducing as possible.
One trans woman experienced this during her time in an engineering program in a conservative area. When she began her first year of an internship program in the field, she had not yet begun living openly as trans.
But then when she went back for her second year of internship, she had begun the process of openly living as a trans woman and faced significant challenges and discrimination because of her gender identity and gender expression. So we had to go back and look at other career fields that might be of interest to her.
Unfortunately, the ability to choose a career based only on their interest is a privilege that not all students will have.
If your aspiration is to be president and you are trans, you are going to need a different work trajectory to make that a reality.
So how can career advisors help trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming students with their career aspirations? First, be mindful of what kinds of barriers trans students are likely to face in the workforce.
It's also important to think about trans folks in specific fields. So what does it look like for a trans engineer that's a woman? What does it look like for a genderqueer sociologist? Those are really different things.
Second, acknowledge the limitations of some of the tools you use. For example, the Strong Interest Inventory requires students to select either male or female to complete the evaluation.
If a student told me that they identified as genderqueer, I hate having to say, well, you have to choose male or female. So I would acknowledge this is ridiculous, but it works well. Choose the gender that you're most aligned with today, and if you've changed your mind the next time we meet, then we'll do the other one.
And third, develop a working knowledge of trans-friendly cities, fields, and workplaces. Inclusive health insurance programs and local fairness laws are particularly important factors for trans folks when deciding where to work.
Do you know which companies have the most inclusive non-discrimination policy in town? Do you know other places in your city, state, locale that have had other genderqueer or non-conforming folks do internships or get hired there?
Although it can be challenging, developing successful strategies for advising a trans, non-binary, or gender non-conforming student is critical to helping them navigate the challenges of choosing a career. For more information on inclusive practices for trans and non-binary students, click subscribe today and never miss an episode.